Before we begin, it is important to understand that the albums covered in this video explore some of the darkest, most unsettling corners of the human experience. Themes of death, despair, mental illness, trauma, and existential dread are woven into the music you're about to learn about. Some of these works are emotionally intense, disturbing, and confrontational, pushing the boundaries of what many would consider comfortable listening. This video is not for everyone. If you are sensitive to dark, disturbing content, viewer discretion is strongly advised. The intent here is not to glorify or sensationalize these themes, but to explore how music can reflect the complexities of the human condition, even when it ventures into uncomfortable territory. Proceed with caution as we descend the abyss.
Welcome back. How's your day? You feeling okay? Did you get some water? Today we're continuing down the weird, depressing, and disturbing albums iceberg. Tier 6 promises to be more unsettling, more chaotic, and more abstract than anything we've seen so far. The albums in this tier don't just challenge you, they unravel you. They dive into themes that stick with you long after the music ends, echoing in the corners of your mind like whispers you can't quite escape. If you're returning, I hope you brought your snacks, because we're ready to descend further down this iceberg. If you're new, welcome. I'm Squishy. I'm your host for this journey. You can catch all the previous videos of this iceberg in the playlist in the description below. Either way, thank you for being here and for exploring these deeply unsettling works with me. Tier 6 is where things truly start to spiral, where every sound feels like a descent into something inescapable. So take a deep breath, maybe grab a blanket, or turn down the lights, and let's begin. Our journey into Tier 6 begins with Aaron Dilloway's 2017 album, The Gag File. This experimental work pushes the boundaries of what music can be, creating an experience that feels more like stepping into a surreal, shifting dream or nightmare. Known for his use of analog tape loops and manipulated sounds, Dilloway created an unsettling world that feels alive, unstable, and constantly decaying. The album opens with Ghost, a track that immediately immerses the listener into its hypnotic, repetitive loops. The warped tape recordings and distorted vocals are eerie and disorienting, making you feel as though you're hearing fragments of something that's falling apart. Tracks like Karaoke with Cal and Born in a Maze build on this foundation, layering harsh noise, static, and warped rhythms that shift unpredictably. There's a strange allure to the chaos, as if the music is luring you deeper into its fragmented, uncanny world. The themes behind the album are as enigmatic as its sound. Dilloway uses distortion and repetition to explore ideas of identity, decay, and discomfort. The title itself suggests a feeling of suppression or suffocation, as if something is trying to emerge but is held back. This idea comes through in the way the music moves. It feels trapped in an endless loop, struggling against its own limitations. The production is raw and intimate, characteristic of Dilloway's analog techniques. The imperfections in the tape loops, pops, crackles, and sudden shifts in tone add a tactile quality to the sound. It feels less like a polished studio album and more like an organic creation that evolves as you listen. These imperfections are what make the album so engaging. They invite the listener to focus on the tiny details, even as the broader soundscape feels chaotic and overwhelming. The Gag File has been widely praised within experimental music circles for its ability to balance discomfort and intrigue. While it challenges traditional ideas of structure and harmony, it also captivates with its unique atmosphere. It's an album that refuses to sit neatly within any genre, drawing on elements of noise, ambient, and industrial to create something entirely its own. Dilloway's work has influenced many in the experimental music world, showcasing how sound itself can be manipulated to evoke powerful emotions. In the end, this album isn't just a listening experience, it's a journey through disorientation and decay. For those willing to embrace its strangeness, the Gag File offers a haunting and unforgettable exploration of the limits of music and emotion it can evoke. I apologize for my pronunciation. Our descent into Tier 6 brings us to Genocide Organ's 1989 release, Leichenlinie. The title translates to corpse line in German, immediately setting the tone for the grim, oppressive experience that lies ahead. This record is a cornerstone of the power electronics genre, known for its harsh noise, confrontational themes, and unrelenting intensity. The soundscape here is abrasive and punishing. Instead of melodies or traditional song structures, the album uses distorted noise, grinding industrial beats, and guttural vocal samples to create an atmosphere of chaos and unease. From the opening track, Ave Santi, the listener is thrust into a sonic assault that feels mechanical and violent. Other tracks like Klaus Barbie and Face of Horror layer static, droning frequencies and unsettling vocal outbursts, building a suffocating world that feels engineered to provoke discomfort. The album's themes revolve around power, control, and human cruelty. It doesn't present these ideas with subtlety or nuance. Instead, it forces the listener to confront them head-on. The stark, unfiltered presentation has sparked debates about whether the work critiques or indulges in its dark subject matter. It's this ambiguity that has made the album both notorious and influential. Adding to its intensity is the raw, lo-fi production. The music feels as though it's coming from another dimension, one of chaos and disorder. The layers of distortion and feedback feel unpolished yet deliberate, amplifying the oppressive nature of the listening experience. This rawness creates an unsettling intimacy, as though the sounds are creeping directly into the listener's personal space. The legacy of this album is as polarizing as its content. On one hand, it's celebrated as a masterpiece of the power electronics genre, influencing countless artists in the industrial noise music. On the other hand, its provocative themes and abrasive sound have made it a point of contention, with some finding it too extreme or offensive to endure. Regardless of interpretation, its impact is undeniable, and it remains a defining work in experimental music. For those willing to engage with its intensity, Like and Linnea is an unforgettable experience, one that challenges what music can be and forces listeners to wrestle with their own boundaries. Next in Tier 6 is Sutlin Jugend's 1982 release, When Pornography Is No Longer Enough. This record is a brutal example of power electronics, a genre known for its harsh noise and confrontational themes. Even within this extreme style, it stands out for how far it pushes the listener into deeply uncomfortable territory. The sound is harsh and overwhelming. There are no traditional instruments or melodies here. Instead, it's built from distorted feedback, static, and aggressive, shouted vocals. The tracks feel chaotic and punishing, creating a soundscape that feels like it's designed to make you feel trapped. It's relentless and raw, refusing to give the listener any sense of relief or escape. The themes are controversial and disturbing, exploring ideas of violence, control, and the darker side of human behavior. The album doesn't provide explanations or context for its subject matter. It simply confronts you with it in the most direct way possible. This has led to debates about whether it's a critique of these themes or simply reveling in shock value. The production is raw and lo-fi, enhancing the abrasive, unfiltered feeling of the music. The distorted layers of noise feel chaotic, but they're carefully constructed to create an atmosphere of suffocating intensity. The lack of polish makes it feel immediate and real, as though you're experiencing something dangerous and unrestrained. Since its release, When Pornography Is No Longer Enough has been polarizing. It's celebrated by fans of extreme music for its raw power and influence on the power electronics genre, but it's also been heavily criticized for its provocative themes and lack of accessibility. Whether you see it as an artistic statement or an exercise in shock, there's no denying its impact on the world of experimental music. In the end, this album isn't just a record, it's a confrontation. It forces listeners to face uncomfortable ideas and endure sounds designed to provoke a reaction. For those willing to engage with its intensity, When Pornography Is No Longer Enough offers an unforgettable and deeply unsettling experience. Our next descent into Tier 6 takes us to NON's 1997 album, God and Beast. This work, created by controversial experimental artist Boyd Rice, blurs the line between music, philosophy, and provocation. Known for his minimalist and abrasive style, Rice uses sound as a tool to challenge listeners and confront deeply ingrained beliefs about morality, power, and human nature. The album is built around industrial soundscapes, looping drones, and distorted vocal samples. Tracks like Lucifer the Morning Star and Between Venus and Mars create a hypnotic rhythm, drawing the listener into a repetitive, almost meditative state. But this is far from soothing. Beneath the layers of sound lies an undercurrent of tension, as if something dark is waiting to emerge. The use of repetitive motifs, grinding noise, and ambient textures give the album a stark and mechanical feel, immersing the listener in its cold, unyielding atmosphere. Themes of power, duality, and the darker aspects of human nature run throughout the album. Rice's fascination with controversial topics is evident in both the sound and the titles, creating a sense of unease and intellectual confrontation. God and Beast explores the coexistence of opposites, creation and destruction, morality and depravity, forcing listeners to confront uncomfortable questions about the human condition. Production is sparse but deliberate, with a heavy focus on repetition and subtle variation. Each sound feels purposeful, from the distorted tones that mimic grinding machinery to the low-frequency drones that evoke a sense of dread. This minimalist approach amplifies the album's intensity, leaving no space for comfort or distraction. It's a cold, clinical experience that demands your full attention. God and Beast has left a divisive legacy. For fans of experimental and industrial music, it's a bold statement that pushes the boundaries of sound and concept. But Rice's controversial reputation and the album's confrontational themes have also drawn criticism, making it one of the more polarizing entries in this genre. Whether seen as groundbreaking or deliberately provocative, its impact on the experimental music scene is undeniable. In the end, this isn't just an album, it's an ideological and sensory challenge. God and Beast dares listeners to step into its stark, uncompromising world and grapple with the questions it poses. For those who can endure its intensity, it offers a unique and unsettling glimpse into the raw power of sound and the philosophy it can carry. Our next descent into Tier 6 takes us to Wormrot's 2016 album, Voices. This record is a masterclass in modern grindcore, blending relentless aggression with moments of introspection and creativity. Known for their ability to push the boundaries of the genre, Wormrot crafted a work here that feels both brutally chaotic and deeply personal. The album wastes no time throwing the listener into its frenetic world. Tracks like Hollow Roots and Fallen into Disuse explode with breakneck drums, distorted riffs, and ferocious screams. But beneath the chaos lies a surprising level of depth. Each song transitions seamlessly into the next, creating a cohesive narrative of despair, frustration, and anger. Despite its relentless pace, the album finds time to experiment, incorporating moments of eerie quiet and dissonance that break the flow just enough to keep the listener on edge. Themes of alienation, existential dread, and societal decay run through the album, reflecting the band's disillusionment with the modern world. The lyrics, though often obscured by the vocal delivery, carry a weight that amplifies the music's emotional core. Wormrot doesn't just create noise, they channel raw, unfiltered emotion through their sound, making every blast beat and guttural scream feel purposeful. The production on Voices is sharp and polished without losing its grit and intensity that defines grindcore. Each instrument is given space to breathe, ensuring that the intricacies of the performance aren't lost in the chaos. The drumming is particularly noteworthy, with its precision and speed acting as the backbone of the album's relentless energy. This attention to detail elevates the record beyond typical grindcore fare, showcasing the band's technical skill and artistic vision. Since its release, Voices has been hailed as a standout in the grindcore genre. Fans and critics alike have praised its ability to combine the raw aggression of classic grindcore with a modern sense of experimentation and depth. It's an album that proves extreme music can be both brutal and thought-provoking, pushing the genre forward while staying true to its roots. In the end, Voices is more than just an onslaught of sound. It's a cathartic release of emotion and energy. For those willing to dive into its relentless intensity, it offers a visceral and unforgettable experience, proving that even in the most chaotic noise, there can be moments of profound meaning. Our next descent into Tier 6 takes us to Today Is the Day's sprawling double album, Sadness Will Prevail, released in 2002. Clocking in at over 2 hours, this ambitious and overwhelming record pushes the boundaries of noise rock and experimental metal, creating an experience that is as challenging as it is unforgettable. It's not just an album, it's a descent into madness. From the very beginning, Sadness Will Prevail makes it clear that it won't be an easy listen. Tracks like Magic with Tears and Face After the Shot combine jagged guitar riffs, chaotic drumming, and Steve Austin's raw, tormented vocals to create a soundscape that feels fractured and unstable. The album constantly shifts between moments of sheer aggression and eerie quiet interludes filled with strange sound effects, spoken word passages, and haunting piano melodies. This unpredictable structure keeps the listener on edge, never allowing for a moment of comfort or familiarity. Thematically, the album delves deep into despair, alienation, and mental illness. It feels intensely personal, as though Austin is bearing his soul through the music. The lyrics are fragmented and cryptic, reflecting a state of inner turmoil and emotional collapse. But it's not just the words, it's the way the music itself mirrors these themes. Its dissonant note and sudden tempo change feels like a manifestation of the chaos and the pain the album seeks to express. The production is dense and chaotic, amplifying the album's sense of unease. Layers of noise, feedback, and distortion create a wall of sound that can feel suffocating, but within that chaos are moments of surprising beauty and introspection. This dynamic range, from blistering heaviness to haunting stillness, is what makes the album so compelling. It's not just heavy for the sake of being heavy, it uses that intensity to tell a story. Since its release, Sadness Will Prevail has been both praised and criticized for its sheer scope and ambition. For some, its length and chaotic structure make it difficult to fully engage with, but for others, it's a masterclass of experimental metal, a raw, unfiltered expression of emotion and artistry. Its impact on extreme music is undeniable, influencing artists who seek to blur the lines between genre and embrace the darker corners of human experience. In the end, this isn't just an album, it's a journey through darkness and despair. For those willing to endure its length and intensity, Sadness Will Prevail offers a unique and harrowing experience, one that stays with you long after the final notes fade. Our next stop in Tier 6 takes us to Ground Zero's 1995 album, Revolutionary Pekingese Opera version 1.28. This is a wild, unpredictable fusion of free jazz, noise, and experimental sampling that refuses to follow any rules. Led by Otomo Yoshihide, a master of turntables and sound manipulation, this album transforms traditional Chinese opera into an avant-garde cacophony that's as exhilarating as it is overwhelming. The album's centerpiece is its reworking of traditional Chinese opera melodies, deconstructing and reassembling them with a modern, chaotic twist. Tracks are layered with samples, screeching saxophones, distorted guitars, and a barrage of turntable effects, creating an unpredictable and often abrasive soundscape. The album feels like it's constantly in motion, shifting between frenetic noise and moments of quiet tension, keeping the listener on edge throughout. At its core, this work is a bold statement about cultural revolution and transformation. By taking a traditional art form and completely dismantling it, Ground Zero creates a piece that challenges the listener's understanding of art, heritage, and sound. The album's title hints at this revolutionary intent, using the language of upheaval to frame its experimental approach. It's not just about creating music, it's about questioning and redefining what music can be. The production on the album is as chaotic as its content. Layers of sound collide and overlap, creating an overwhelming density that mirrors the frenetic energy of the performances. The use of turntables and samples gives the music a fractured, collage-like quality, as if it's pieced together from fragments of sound that shouldn't fit but somehow do. This approach makes every moment feel unpredictable, demanding the listener's full attention. Revolutionary Pekingese Opera version 1.28 has become the landmark in avant-garde music, celebrated for its fearless experimentation and cultural commentary. While its chaotic nature may alienate some users, it has also inspired a devoted following amongst fans of free jazz, noise, and experimental sound art. Its influence can be seen in the works of artists who embrace the idea of sound as rebellion, using chaos to create meaning. In the end, this isn't just an album, it's a challenge, an experiment, and a revolution in sound. For those willing to embrace its chaos, Revolutionary Pekingese Opera version 1.28 offers an unforgettable exploration of what happens when tradition collides with the avant-garde. How are you holding up? Are you okay? You're going to take a moment to catch your breath, let everything sink in, and take a drink. This tear has been a lot to process. Layers of chaos, emotion, and sounds that challenge not just what we hear, but how we feel. It's important to pause and reflect when diving into something so intense. These albums aren't just music, they're experiences, and sometimes they push us to places we didn't expect to go. And that's okay. It's part of the journey. So take this moment to reset, stretch, sip some water, or even just close your eyes for a second. This is the beauty of what we're doing, exploring the raw, the strange, and the unsettling, while taking the time to process what it means. When you're ready, we'll dive back in. There's more to uncover, and who knows what the next descent will reveal. Our next descent into Tier 6 takes us to Controlled Bleeding's 1989 release, Trudge. Known for their ability to merge industrial, experimental, and dark ambient elements, this work feels both oppressive and deeply emotional. It stands as one of their most compelling projects, combining raw power with haunting beauty. The sound is rooted in industrial noise but incorporates a wide range of textures and emotions. Tracks like Crack the Body and Words of the Dying feature heavy, mechanical beats, distorted guitars, and tortured vocals, creating an atmosphere of crushing intensity. Interspersed among these harsh moments are quieter, more introspective pieces that offer brief glimpses of melancholy and fragility. This dynamic range is what makes it so impactful. It's not just heavy for the sake of being heavy, it's heavy with a purpose. Themes of pain, loss, and the darker aspects of the human experience are woven throughout. The lyrics are often cryptic, allowing the music itself to carry the emotional weight. Each track feels like a journey into a different facet of despair, exploring the many ways humans endure suffering. The combination of industrial aggression and ambient stillness mirrors the duality of these themes, creating a work that is as haunting as it is powerful. The production is dense and atmospheric, perfectly suited to its industrial roots. Layers of distorted noise and pounding rhythms are balanced with the ethereal synths and subtle melodies, giving the album a sense of depth and complexity. The use of reverb and echo creates a cavernous feel, as if the music is being played in some vast, desolate space. This production style enhances the emotional impact, drawing the listener deeper into its oppressive soundscape. Since its release, this record has been celebrated as a defining work in the industrial and experimental genres. Its ability to blend aggression with introspection has influenced countless artists, proving that even the harshest music can carry profound emotional depth. For fans of industrial and dark ambient, it remains a touchstone, a reminder of the genre's potential to explore both sound and emotion. In the end, Trudge isn't just an industrial album, it's an exploration of darkness and vulnerability, a testament to the power of music to express the inexpressible. For those willing to endure its intensity, it offers an unforgettable journey into the heart of despair and resilience. Our next descent into Tier 6 brings us to Ramle's 1987 release, Hand of Glory. Known for their roots in the power electronics and noise scenes, this album represents a shift in the band's sound, blending harsh industrial elements with a dark, almost ritualistic intensity. It's an unrelenting and raw experience that challenges listeners to confront the depths of human depravity and despair. The music is dense and abrasive, filled with distorted noise, droning feedback, and unsettling vocal samples. Tracks are crafted to feel overwhelming, as if the sound itself is pressing down on you. The atmosphere is thick with tension, and moments of clarity are rare, leaving the listener in a state of constant unease. The album's structure mirrors this, with long, sprawling tracks to pull you deeper into its unsettling world. Themes of violence, control, and existential dread run through the music. It's not interested in providing comfort or resolution. This is a work that forces you to sit with discomfort, reflecting on the darker sides of humanity. The production enhances this feeling, with layers of sound colliding and blending in ways that feel chaotic yet deliberate. It's not polished or clean, it's raw, visceral, and immediate. The legacy of this release is tied to its role in pushing the boundaries of experimental and industrial music. While Remla began as a cornerstone of the power electronics genre, this album shows their evolution into something even more multifaceted and thought-provoking. It's a work that continues to inspire and challenge artists who seek to explore the limits of sound and emotion. In the end, Hand of Glory is not just an album, it's an auditory confrontation with the harsh realities of existence. For those willing to endure its intensity, it offers a unique and unforgettable experience that stays with you after the final track fades. Our next stop in Tier 6 is Boyd Rice and Friends' 1990 release, Music, Martinis, and Misanthropy. This record is as much a statement as it is an album, blending dark cabaret, spoken word, and industrial noise into a work that feels equal parts unsettling and oddly charming. It's a provocative exploration of misanthropy and cultural critique, wrapped in a deceptively smooth aesthetic. The music combines minimalist instrumentation, piano strings, and subtle percussion, with Rice's deep, monotone voice delivering monologues that range from sardonic humor to biting social commentary. Tracks like People and An Eye for an Eye juxtapose pleasant, lounge-like melodies with lyrics that dive into themes of vengeance, nihilism, and disdain for societal norms. This sharp contrast gives the album its unique identity, making it feel subversive and daring. Thematically, this work revels in contradiction. It presents itself with the sophistication of a cocktail party, but its core is dark, unapologetically cynical, and deliberately provocative. Rice uses his platform to challenge conventional morality and societal expectations, often walking the line between critique and outright provocation. The album's tone isn't for everyone, but that's part of its power. It refuses to conform to any expectations. The production is clean and sparse, giving the music an almost clinical precision. This clarity allows every note and word to stand out, emphasizing the contrast between the smooth instrumentals and the abrasive confrontational content. The polished sound only heightens the unease, making the listener question whether they're meant to enjoy the experience or feel unsettled by it. This release has had a polarizing legacy. Some see it as a brilliant piece of dark humor and social critique, while others view it as needlessly provocative. Regardless of interpretation, its influence on experimental and industrial music is undeniable. It opened doors for artists to explore darker themes in unconventional ways, proving that discomfort and elegance can coexist. In the end, this isn't just an album, it's a challenge. It dares listeners to engage with its contradictions and to question their own beliefs and assumptions. For those who can navigate its provocative themes, Music Martinis and Misanthropy offers a complex and unforgettable experience, one that lingers long after the music fades. Our journey into Tier 6 now leads us to Sejelemes's 1988 release, Bardo Thus Grol. This deeply experimental work takes its name from the Bardo Thadol, or the Tibetan Book of the Dead, a spiritual text that guides the soul through the states of existence between death and rebirth. The album embodies the essence of this journey, crafting an ambient and industrial soundscape that feels both otherworldly and profoundly introspective. The music is slow and meditative, yet layered with dissonance and unease. Tracks are built on droning synthesizers, subtle percussive textures, and distorted samples that echo like distant voices. It's not music you listen to casually, it demands focus, drawing you into its dense, complex atmosphere. Each piece feels like a step through a liminal space, evoking feelings of transition, uncertainty, and transcendence. The themes are deeply spiritual, exploring the nature of existence, transformation, and the journey of the soul. By incorporating elements of Tibetan spirituality and blending them with industrial and ambient techniques, the album creates a space where ancient wisdom meets modern sound design. This duality is central to its impact. It's a meditation on timeless concepts through the lens of experimental music. The production is raw but intentional, emphasizing texture and atmosphere over melody or structure. The layers of sound feel like they're constantly shifting, creating a sense of movement that mirrors the album's thematic journey. The use of field recordings and manipulated vocals add to its immersive quality, making the experience feel deeply personal and almost ritualistic. Over the years, this record has become a touchstone for fans of dark ambient and industrial music, celebrated for its ability to bridge the gap between spirituality and experimentation. While its esoteric nature may not appeal to everyone, it's a significant work in the realm of conceptual and meditative music, inspiring artists to aim to push the boundaries of sound and meaning. In the end, this album isn't just a listening experience, it's a journey through sound and thought, an exploration of life, death, and everything in between. For those willing to embrace its enigmatic nature, Bardo Thus Grol offers a deeply immersive and transformative experience, one that lingers in the mind like a fading dream. Our next step into Tier 6 takes us to Pharmacon's 2013 release, Abandon. This is an album that doesn't just ask you to listen, it demands that you feel every second of its visceral, unrelenting intensity. Created by Margaret Chaudhayat, this project is a raw and confrontational exploration of pain, control, and catharsis, all delivered through a blend of noise and industrial elements that feel deeply personal. From the very beginning, this album pulls no punches. The opening track, Milkweed/It Hangs Heavy, immediately immerses you into a dense wall of sound, grinding electronics, distorted feedback, and Chaudhayat's guttural screams. The music is abrasive and unfiltered, designed to overwhelm and provoke, pushing the listener into a state of discomfort that mirrors its themes. Tracks like Ache and Crawling on Bruised Knees take this further, building tension with relentless noise and moments of eerie silence, creating an atmosphere of pure unease. Thematically, the album delves deep into the physical and emotional extremes of existence. Chaudhayat has described her work as a way of confronting her own mortality and the fragility of the human body, and that raw vulnerability comes through in every track. The sound itself feels like a manifestation of internal chaos, a scream turned into music, a way of processing pain and finding release. The production emphasizes the album's intensity, with every sound feeling deliberate and unrestrained. The layers of noise are suffocating but controlled, creating a sense of claustrophobia that mirrors its themes. Sir Diet's vocal delivery is central to the experience, raw, emotional, and unrelenting. It feels like a direct connection to her psyche, pulling you into her world of struggle and resilience. Since its release, the record has been hailed as a groundbreaking work in the noise genre, praised for its ability to turn harsh, abrasive sounds into something deeply emotional and cathartic. It's not an easy listen. It's an experience that forces you to confront discomfort, both sonically and emotionally. Yet, for those willing to engage with its intensity, it offers a profound exploration of what it means to endure and survive. In the end, this album isn't just noise. It's a raw, unfiltered confrontation with the human experience. Abandon is a reminder of the power of music to express what words cannot, an unforgettable journey into the depths of emotion and sound. We end this section of Tier 6 with Consumer Electronics' 2014 Estuary English. This album is a brutal, unfiltered assault of power electronics and harsh noise, blending abrasive soundscapes with confrontational, often uncomfortable themes. Known for their fearless approach, Consumer Electronics delivers a work here that is as provocative as it is overwhelming. The sound is chaotic, a barrage of screeching feedback, distorted beats, and guttural vocals. Tracks like Co-opted and Sex Offender Boyfriend push the boundaries of noise, creating an experience that feels deliberately antagonistic. The use of dissonance and extreme dynamics keeps the listener on edge, making it impossible to relax or predict what's coming next. It's a sonic onslaught that leaves no room for escape. Thematically, the album tackles issues of power, control, and societal decay. The lyrics are delivered with venom, often feeling more like shouted accusations than traditional vocals. There's a rawness to the presentation that makes the album feel almost voyeuristic, as though you're witnessing something deeply personal and unsettling. The content is provocative and polarizing, sparking as much discomfort as it does intrigue. The production is intentionally rough, amplifying the sound of chaos and intensity. Layers of distortion and noise are woven together in a way that feels both calculated and volatile. This approach gives the album an almost tactile quality, as though the sound itself is pressing down on you. The stark, minimalistic production enhances its confrontational tone, making every sound hit harder. Since its release, this record has become a standout in the power of electronics and noise scenes, celebrated for its unflinching commitment to pushing boundaries. It's not music designed to entertain, it's a statement, a challenge, and a provocation. For fans of extreme sound, it's an essential listen that tests the limits of what noise can convey. In the end, this album isn't just an auditory experience. It's a confrontation with sound and ideas that are as abrasive as they are thought-provoking. Estuary English closes this chapter of Tier 6 with a reminder that the most unsettling music often holds a mirror to the darkest parts of ourselves. And that brings us to the end of part 1 for Tier 6. I want to say thank you for making it to the end of the video. I know the albums we've explored have been harrowing and unsettling, but remember to take your head out of the rabbit hole and breathe some fresh air. While these albums have been fascinating to learn about, we must remind ourselves that there is more to life than just despair. Music like this pushes us to confront heavy themes and raw emotions, but it's just one piece of a much larger world. Balance is key. Whether it's connecting with loved ones, stepping outside into the sunlight, or simply finding a moment of calm, don't forget to take care of yourself as we continue this journey together. If you're ready to keep exploring, don't forget to check out the full Iceberg playlist linked in the description. You can catch up on previous tiers or revisit the ones that intrigued you the most. And of course, if you've enjoyed this descent, give the video a like, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell so you don't miss what's coming next. I've been your host, Squishy. Thank you again for being here, for your curiosity, and for diving into these darker corners of music with me. Until next time, stay squishy.